Hi Virgo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your May 2022 love reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridging the gap spread. And the way it works is look at the past energies, present energies, and future energies between you and the main love interest. Once we get to roll that, we'll pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. As far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of the New Vision. And also keep in mind it's a general reading, so while I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as the energy and the cards on the right as the other person's, if you feel like it's the other way around in your situation, definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that away, let's get started. Past energy on your side, we have innocence. So this is the equivalent of the Fool in the traditional tarot. So I feel like this is saying that you might have really had a lot of optimism toward the connection in the past and possibly been the one to initiate the connection between the two of you. What stands out to me here, though, is if we look at the two people in the card, if we can get it to focus. There we go. We see he has a blindfold on, he's playing music, and she just doesn't look all that impressed, right? So it could even just be saying that there might have been a bit of a naive aspect to the connection from your side as well, right? Where maybe you were just envisioning something where this person might not have seen it the same way you did. Past energy on their side, we have the Three of Cups. So yeah, to me, this could just be saying primarily that they might have just seen the connection between the two of you as just more of a friendship thing. Whereas, like I said, maybe it might have been you guys who had this grand vision for it, whereas they weren't necessarily seeing it from the same perspective. Some of you just could just be saying that that's just where they were in general, saying that they were just putting more focus on their friendships at that time and weren't really thinking of romantic connections in general, right? So it might not have been so much personalized to you, just more of that's where they were in the past. All right. Present energy on your side, we have the Five of Cups. So this is a Scorpio energy here, and for you guys, that's your third house communication. So for some of you, you might actually possibly be coming to that realization, right? That, oh, this person didn't really see anything more than a friendship, right? And there could even be possibly a little of embarrassment on your part behind that, right? Like, okay, apparently I read the situation wrong, right? That's kind of what I'm getting here. I wouldn't normally get that with the Five of Cups energy, but in this particular context, that's almost what I'm feeling, right? And in a way that would make sense as far as in May, we're going to have that Mercury retrograde starting in Gemini, and then it's going to move into Taurus. So for you guys being ruled by Mercury, you're going to feel that more than most signs. So yeah, it'll just be one of those things where you could have that moment of realization that, oh wait, I was seeing it as a Two of Cups type of situation, whereas this person was seeing it as a Three of Cups. And you might even feel like you could have ruined the friendship in that regard as well. Present energy on their side, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So yeah, Seven of Pentacles energy in almost any deck to me doesn't necessarily come across as someone who's happy with where they're at, right? And with this deck in particular too, it stands out to me there's like a ghostly type figure in the background, right? So this could just be saying that this person might even just still have someone in the past on their mind, someone from the past on their mind, rather. So it could just be saying that, they might have had a long-term commitment that they were in at one point, and it's possible that that connection might have fallen apart altogether, or is at least on its way out, right? And they could just be trying to figure out where they want their next steps to be. For some of you, could also just be saying that they might be more focused on their finances, and that could be enough reason why they're not really thinking along the lines of romantic connections at this time either. All right, future energy on your side, we have the Eight of Cups. So yeah, this is Pisces energy here, and what stands out to me here is whenever I see this particular card in this deck is the cup over there. If we think about it as the Ace of Cups energy, it's that heart looks like it's empty, right? Versus the ones of the Seven Cups there. So it could just be one of those things where you might feel like, okay, maybe you went through that Seven of Cups phase, right? Where, like I said, you may not have been seeing the situation clearly. Maybe you were seeing some potential within the connection where there wasn't necessarily any potential there. And then seeing that cup off by itself, making me think of the Ace of Cups energy, but seeing that the heart is empty, right? It could just be one of those things where you might come to the realization that, okay, I saw the potential for things to go one way, right? And it doesn't look like this person sees it that way, right? So you could just be making peace with that, basically. The Eight of Cups typically represents walking away and searching for something deeper elsewhere. But yeah, it's kind of what I see with that. But I do feel it's like kind of a peaceful energy, though. I don't feel like there's any animosity or anything. All right, and future energy on their side, we have the Death card, which is the major arcana card for Scorpio, and the Hierophant, which is the major arcana card for Taurus. So, interesting to see these two cards come up because this makes me think of the full moon eclipse that we're going to have in Scorpio during Taurus season. So, this could just be pointing to a timeline for some of you, especially given that for you guys that is going to be in your third house communication. So yeah, this could just be saying that by the time we have that eclipse, you guys might have some conversation around the whole connection. And I feel like this is, again, the thought that comes to mind with this, the term that comes to mind with this, looking at that dove being released there. So I feel like this is saying you guys will make peace between the two of you. Like I don't necessarily feel like this is something where there's hard feelings, per se, just more of you coming to terms with the fact that, okay, yeah, maybe I saw potential for things to go a certain way with this person and kind of making peace with the fact that, okay, yeah, it doesn't look like they're viewing it that way at all, right? And on their end, like I said, it looks like they just might have other things on their mind and not even necessarily thinking about anything romantic. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing with that. Okay, bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Eight of Staves. So this is Sagittarius energy here. And with this deck in particular, seeing those birds, that makes me think of communication, right? Possibly through the internet or text messaging. That's why I get the vision of those short type messages with the birds there. But yeah, could just be pointing to the fact that between the two of you, obviously, it looks like you might have been the one who was carrying more of the conversations, basically initiating more of the conversations. So that's primarily what I'm seeing with that. And bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Knave of Swords. So this is the equivalent to the Page of Swords. And yeah, if we look at the body language there, right, their back is kind of turned. The stance is a little bit awkward, right? So it could just be one of those things where they necessarily didn't feel too comfortable communicating either. Like I said, maybe not necessarily in a bad way, but whether they had something else on their mind, or maybe they saw that you had feelings for them, but they didn't quite know how to let you know it wasn't reciprocated, right? So could have been some things left up in the air as far as communication with this person. But yeah, that's what I see with that. All right, so moving on to your oracle cards. First, we'll see what we get from the Aqua Moonlight deck here. I did pre-shuffle this deck before we started recording. And what I'm going to be looking for here, at least initially, is I'll be looking for jumpers as far as unspoken messages from you to them and then from them to you. But if I shuffle for a while without anything coming up, I'll actually just put the deck down and pull cards that way. But we'll see what we get. Almost had one there. All right, and this one doesn't want to go back in the deck. And next we'll see what we get from them to you. All right, and this doesn't want to go back in the deck. So let's see, on your side first, we have Rendezvous. I want to see you. So yeah, I mean, not a earth-shattering message there, right? Like I said, it definitely looked like you had a desire for them, at the very least in the past. In the present, it already looks like in some ways you might be coming to the realization that that's not reciprocated, but that's what I see with that. And then on their side, we have Forbidden. Okay. It says, even though we shouldn't, I still want you. Interesting. Okay, so this is just going to add another layer to this for some of you. Not all. But seeing this here, makes me think of these energies slightly differently. The Three of Cups, I don't normally think of that as like a third party dynamic, but here, after seeing that particular card come up, that could be what it is for some of you, where they actually were in another connection. With the Seven of Pentacles, I was viewing this more as maybe a past connection, but for some of you, this could be ongoing, and it could just be one of those things where maybe they're not necessarily too happy in the connection, but they're still in the connection, right? So if that's the case for a small percentage of you, what these two cards here could represent could just be saying that they might be ending the commitment that they're in. Now, keep in mind, even if that is the case, there's nothing that clearly says that even if they do end that connection, that they're going to run to you necessarily, right? But I do have to say, um, seeing that card here in particular could just be saying that they might actually have the desire for you, but it could just be that they're involved elsewhere and they can't, really cross that line, or at least they're trying not to. So, hope it resonated with you, some of you anyway. And then lastly, we'll pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Same situation as far as I pre-shuffled this one as well. Here we're just looking for one card with general advice to wrap up with, though. All right, and I just want to go back in the deck. So let's see what we got. Okay, we have regeneration. There's the artwork, and the number is 46. So, all right, maybe I stand corrected, right? It does look like there is an ending energy here, but maybe this is saying somewhere down the line it might come back around. So this is definitely getting more interesting as we go, but let's see what this has to say. Okay, it says rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. The Oracle's message. Second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. Okay, the relationship message says the world is based on connections and relationships. No matter what loss has occurred in the past or even now, death and endings are only illusions. There is life after death, love after loss, and in this moment you are radiating the regenerative life force energy that makes you irresistible to love in all forms. Now is the time when you will see evidence of this new emergence. Can you feel it? Love is rising up to greet you. So yeah, interesting message there. Like I said, it's definitely, the Oracle cards seem to add more layers to this than what I was seeing initially. This really looked like an unrequited type of situation initially. But like I said, for some of you, it looks like maybe they were just in another connection, which might be coming apart in the near future. And it's possible that you guys could get things off the ground. But hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.